Ever get that shiver down your spine when you think about the stuff hiding in old buildings?
Oh, yeah.
Like the stuff people whisper about asbestos.
Right.
Well, today we're diving deep into the world of the people who tackle this hazardous material head on, asbestos abatement
Yeah,
workers.
it's not just slapping on a mask and ripping out some insulation. We're talking about skilled professionals
Mhm.
dealing with a substance that's been linked to, you know, serious health
Like
problems.
that lung cancer, mesothelioma, scary stuff.
Exactly.
And you sent over some really fascinating resources from RoleCatcher.com. They really dig into this whole career path, right? It's not just a job, it's a whole career path.
Yeah, there are multiple levels of expertise, specialized training. It's a whole thing.
So, for those of us who wouldn't know a hazmat suit from a snowsuit, what does an asbestos abatement worker actually do?
Okay, so imagine this. Before any renovations can happen in a building with asbestos, someone needs to make sure it's handled safely, right?
Makes sense.
That's where these specialists come in. They inspect the site, meticulously planning the removal or the encapsulation of the material.
Encapsulation. So that's like different from just removing it.
Yeah, sometimes it's safer to seal the asbestos in rather than try to remove it, especially if it's in decent condition and not likely to be disturbed. It's all about, minimizing risk.
So there's a lot of strategy involved, like a hazmat operation, but for buildings. And the Role Catcher Guide mentioned four main career stages. Where does someone even begin in this line of work?
Well, most start as entry-level abatement workers. You can think of it like the boot camp of asbestos abatement. They're learning to identify different types of asbestos, how to understand all the safety protocols, and they're getting that hands-on experience with those basic removal techniques.
So, like, learning to handle the tools of the trade, right? And I'm guessing safety is a big part of that.
Oh, absolutely. You're working with hazardous materials, so precision and caution are key. An entry-level worker is often responsible for setting up those containment areas, using those HEPA vacuums to filter the air, and making sure that all the asbestos waste is disposed of properly. It's about building that strong foundation in the essential skills and safety procedures.
Gotcha. Okay, so you've mastered the basics. Then what? What's the next step on the career ladder?
That's when you step up to asbestos abatement technician. At that point, you're not just assisting, you're conducting those thorough inspections, analyzing the extent of the contamination, and then planning the safest, most effective removal strategy.
So you're like the architect of the removal plan,
Yeah, exactly.
making sure everything goes, smoothly and safely.
Exactly. And that involves, really understanding the regulations around asbestos abatement. Like you need to know the permissible exposure limits, the proper disposal methods, all of that.
Wow, talk about attention to detail. It seems like this stage is where those like project management skills really come into play.
Absolutely. A good technician isn't just like getting the job done. They're thinking about efficiency, how to communicate effectively, making sure everyone on the team is working safely
Yeah.
and effectively so.
It's almost like you're leading the charge even if you're not officially the supervisor yet.
Right.
So what's the next step up then?
That would be asbestos abatement supervisor. So now you are responsible for overseeing multiple projects.
Okay.
And the teams, you're making sure everyone is following those proper procedures,
Right.
meeting deadlines.
Right.
You're managing budgets. You're coordinating with the clients.
Yeah.
And then, handling any unexpected challenges that might come up.
Which I'm sure in this line of work, there are probably a few.
Oh, absolutely.
So it sounds like a pretty demanding role. What kind of skills are really essential for an abatement supervisor?
Well, you need strong leadership skills, for sure.
Makes sense.
You're not just managing tasks at that point. You're managing people. You're motivating them to do their best work, often in a really stressful environment. Communication is key, too.
Right.
Whether you're explaining, technical details to your team, or you're reassuring a concerned client, or just navigating all those regulations, you got to be a good communicator.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of responsibility riding on the supervisor's shoulders.
A lot.
They're not just handling the asbestos, they're handling people's, livelihoods, their well-being.
Exactly. And that actually brings us to the top rung of the ladder, Senior Asbestos Abatement Manager.
Okay.
At this level, you're less hands-on with like the actual abatement process and more focused on the bigger picture.
I see.
So you're developing those company policies, overseeing multiple projects across different locations, and just ensuring the company's overall compliance with those safety regulations.
So you've basically gone from like working on site with the asbestos to managing, this whole operation. And what's interesting to me is even though this is such a specialized field, a lot of these skills, the product management, the leadership, the communication, those are valuable in any industry, really.
Absolutely, yeah. The ability to assess risk,
Yeah.
to implement these safety protocols and manage a team effectively, those are completely transferable skills that would be an asset in any number of careers.
That's a good point. Speaking of which, you know what else I found really fascinating in these RoleCatcher resources? They offer some pretty incredible tools for anyone looking to, like, break into a new field or even level up their existing career.
Oh, yeah. Their CV and resume builder is a game changer, especially for someone in like a technical field like asbestos abatement, where highlighting those specific skills and certifications is so important.
And it's not just about crafting a good resume. They have this, like, massive database of interview
I know,
questions.
it's crazy.
Over 120,000, according to their website.
It's like having a crystal. For job interviews.
Yeah.
You can practice answering questions that are specific to asbestos abatement or really any field that you're interested in.
It's amazing. And then there's that AI analysis tool that assesses how well your resume matches up with the job description.
Oh, yeah.
That's got to take some of the guesswork out of applying.
It really does. It's all about working smarter, not harder. These tools really empower those job seekers to put their best foot forward.
Totally. It's funny how we started with something as specific as asbestos abatement, and we've ended up talking about like the bigger picture of career development
It is interesting.
and the whole job hunting landscape.
Yeah, it shows how interconnected everything really is.
Absolutely. So, as we start to wrap up this deep dive into the world of asbestos abatement workers, what's like the one big takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with?
For me, it's that idea that knowledge is power. The more you understand about the world around you, even those, seemingly hidden parts of it, like asbestos abatement, the better equipped you are to make informed decisions about your health, your career, even just your place in the world.
That's a great point. And who knows, maybe this deep dive has sparked an interest in a field someone never even knew existed before.
That would be awesome.
Right. Well, thanks for joining us on this fascinating exploration. And be sure to check out those resources we mentioned from rollcatcher.com. Until next time, keep those minds curious and stay safe out there.